asked me to come along and talk today a little bit about sort of managing stress and how it's going on its own. I don't know how to stop the timing, sorry. So Ive's asked me to talk about stress today, and it's really quite relevant in what's been going on in the world. There's been quite a lot of stress. We've all had to kind of deal with stress. And so this presentation was actually quite challenging for me to do because there's so much that I could give you, but I really didn't want to overwhelm everybody because that would create more stress. So I really wanted to just bring it down to the main kind of principles, and I'm more than happy if people want to interrupt me and just ask a few questions. But at the end of the presentation, I'm going to take you through 3 different techniques. And the reason I'm doing that is that I would like to give you something that you can then take away and do in your own homes. So in our modern day life, we can struggle with all sorts of things. We've just been thrown the corona bomb. We can struggle with too much information. We can have health challenges. We can be working too hard. We can be having issues with our gut. There's so much that really kind of goes on. And I think nobody, until sometimes you reach a crisis point, do you ever stop and think about what you're actually doing and what is all this stuff that's kind of coming up for you. We just kind of soldier on. It's like the Codral ad used to be. I don't think the Codral ad will ever be the same again, but we all just kind of soldier on with the sore hip or the gut problem or the sore head or the million things that are kind of going on between us. And we don't even really consider it as stress. Or we may say that we're stressed, but we don't quite understand what that really is. Stress can really be anything that leads us to be overwhelmed or overloaded. And what that really means is that sometimes stress is not bad. Stress can be helpful to get our presentation in on time. Stress can be helpful to motivate us to perform, to focus, to do all those kinds of things. But when stress is harmful is when we can't actually do stuff about what's coming up for us. So for me, that becomes kind of like an overloaded stress. And we may come into overloaded stress if we're in an environment that's not conducive. So we may be in a poor working environment where, for example, our boss is on our back, or we're on our own back, or we're uncomfortable, or there's too many chemicals. For some people, food can also be considered a kind of stress for them. We can also have an emotional overload that can create stress for us. So if we're not dealing with emotions, then we can become stressed. I had a client the other day, just yesterday, actually, that was saying to me, you know, you wouldn't know on the outside how unhappy and stressed I was and how upset with my life I was because it went into the vault. And guess what she presented with? Panic attacks. So she was busy living her life, putting everything into the vault. Well, eventually the vault would become overloaded and she would have a panic attack. That was an emotional stress that she was unable to release. I've also seen people that have physical stress from overtraining. If you train too much, you will put your body into stress and your body's not going to like it. And that can lead to pain and stress for you as well. Another thing that can actually stress us is all the stuff that we could do to de-stress ourselves. And this is, for me, really interesting because we're all now hearing the buzzwords of yoga, meditation, gratitude, breathing, healthy eating, positive thinking. But again, knowing where to start in itself can sometimes create too much stress. There can be so much going on that we don't even know where to start. And what I say to people is the best thing to do is the thing that is right for you. Too much worrying about what the right thing to do is actually going to give you stress and confusion. So the best thing to do is just start somewhere. Start with one thing. There's nothing that I guess you can start with that will necessarily be wrong if you start listening to yourself. For me, the thing that's really important is to find something that can empty your cup. We all have a cup of what we can deal with. Some people's cups are bigger than other people's cups. And some people's cups have a lot more things in them that they don't understand. If you look at the cup on the left, it's actually quite full. And what we do when we've got a lot of stress that we don't understand is that water that's in there is stopping us from processing the new things that are coming on in our lives. So that tiny little bit of space that we have can really quickly and easily get taken up by the dickhead cutting us off on the road, or missing the bus, or forgetting to take money and we're going out for lunch. And then all of a sudden we have this massive meltdown because we don't have any room to process it. And our brains, as fabulous as they can be, are really, really simple and dumb in other ways. So if they are full of stuff that we don't understand, then we cannot process anymore. If we can move to the glass on the right and you empty that down, then you've got much more capacity to deal with all the little things that life throws at you. You can deal with your husband not being the most pleasant person. You can deal with getting a deadline that's been thrown at you at the last minute. You can deal with the traffic being a bit more chaotic because you've got much more room to deal with it. So what's the best way to empty our cup? Well, the best way to empty our cup is to actually find something that works for us to help us understand who we are. And I was one of these people that had the cup on the left. That's how I lived my life, full of stuff I didn't quite understand. And it was really astounding to me, for myself, when I was able to really listen to myself and empty my cup. And when I learned to empty my cup, I realized that it was all up to me. And that's why my business is called Transformation from Within. Because until I was ready to make a change inside myself, I was unable to do what I needed to do. And so I say to people, it's so important to empty your cup the way that suits you, because you're living your life. I can't walk in your shoes. I don't understand the challenges that you face. But what will work for you are these principles. The first one is find something to quiet the noise so that you can bring the focus inside you. Now, we all lead such busy lives, and I think some people have really struggled in this period of isolation because they kind of liked the noise. They didn't like the quiet. But what this has forced us to do is actually really take a pause and listen inside ourselves. The other thing that we really need to do is find something that really fits with you. There's no point in me telling you to go and meditate and do a silent retreat for 3 days if that's not going to gel with you. It's finding something that fits with you. And that can be as simple as staring at the waves. I did that yesterday. I needed a break. I just went just up to Marn Pool and just looked at the water for about 10 minutes. That to me was a way to empty my cup. That was a way for me to do something very pragmatic and practical. A lot of people surf. That's a form of meditation for them. So it's really about finding what works for you, which is that resonance. What's that resonance that's going to allow you to do this above the other shit that you put in front of you? Sorry, I swear a bit. Yeah, I'm the anti-therapist. The other thing is it's really important to find something that's repeatable. So there's no point doing it once going, yeah, I saw the whales, they're really cool, dude, and never doing it again. You would like, the benefit is to find the repeatability, because with stress, you don't know when you're going to do it, when you're going to get it, when it's going to happen to you. So if you have a discipline, it's almost like you're flexing that muscle to enable you to do it when the time is necessary. And so then you can just kind of click into it and it becomes a lot easier for you. And then I would just say to you, just try lots of different things, because you're not going to know what you like till you try it. You're not going to know what works for you until you give it a go. So I've sort of picked now 3 things that I think we can really try. And I'll start with breathing. Breathing is the most obvious one that people would have heard about. But I don't know that people do the breathing right. For me, in order for breathing to be successful, it's important that it's done throughout the day, at least 2 to 3 times a day at various intervals. And it's also really important when you're doing your breathing that you activate your deep belly muscles. When you activate your deep belly muscles, there are actually little receptors down there that help to calm your nervous system. And the reason that that's important is if you are feeling stressed and you can find a way to naturally calm your nervous system, you will become less stressed. So the breathing that I talk about is deep belly breathing, and you can do deep belly breathing to any kinds of counts. It doesn't really matter. The point is that it's again repetitive and it's got a rhythm. The rhythm and the repetition will help you practice it. The principles of keeping your belly filled will make sure that you get the benefit that you need. And then the timeliness of doing it will actually set you up so that you're able to kick into it when you need it. Because there's no point going when you're super stressed out, oh, what did Mary say about breathing? It will work, but it's not going to work as effectively as if you had a discipline of doing it 3 times a day. You know, and I say to people, breathing's awesome because you can nick off to the loo when someone's pissed you off and just quickly do it and feel better. You could even do it quite discreetly as you're walking around if you're feeling that you don't have the space and the privacy that you would like. So I think I want to just, in this, give you a quick a demo of it. And so you guys can feel what it feels like to go through it. So for this one, I'm going to do 6-3-6 breathing. And what that means is you breathe in for a count of 6, you hold for or pause for a count of 6, and then breathe out again for a count of 6. And then pause for a count of 3. So it's 6-3-6. Breathe in 6, pause 3, out 6, pause 3. And the really important thing with this, and it's going to sound really odd, is that when you breathe in, you push your belly out. And when you breathe out, you push your belly in. Okay, so is everybody ready to give this one a whirl? Okay, so you can keep your eyes open, closed, don't care. So when you're ready, just back straight and breathing in, 1, breathe belly right out, and then pausing for 3, 1, 2, 3, and then breathing out. And really, as you're breathing out, just suck that belly right in. Just really suck it right in. Good, and pause for 3. And you're breathing in again. And this time you're really, really filling that belly, kind of like that Buddha statue, as much as you can. And it's really important to keep your shoulders down and back. That's right, keeping that breath in and holding for 3. And then just breathing out again for 6. And again, as you're breathing out, just really feeling that belly, just sucking. If you could get that belly button right up to your spine, that's kind of the thing we're looking for. Then pausing for 3 and breathing in again for 6. And really filling that belly. That's right, and holding for 3. And then just breathing out again. And just really sucking in that belly. And just allowing now your breathing just to go back to normal. And if you can do that deep belly breathing for 5 rounds, 3 times a day, the benefits would be, I gave this to a smoker, and it really helped him to stop smoking. And one of his friends that referred him rang me and said, oh my God, what have you done to my friend? And I said, what do you mean? And he said he's in love with just breathing air, and he's like freaking out at how amazing it feels to just breathe. Because I think as a smoker, he hadn't actually taken a proper deep breath before that. So that's deep belly breathing. Does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is probably something that everyone's heard about, but maybe some of you don't quite understand what it is. All mindfulness is bringing yourself into the current present moment. And the reason that going back into the current present moment is important is that when we are stressed, we can be catastrophizing. We can be thinking too far into the future. We can be worrying about things that did happen or may happen or are going to happen. And we're just freaking ourselves out with too much that's going on. What mindfulness does is it actually pauses us and it brings us back into the now. And what I'm going to play for you is a little mindfulness recording that I have created with music, and again, it's really helpful when you can do this throughout the day, because if you can learn to pepper these techniques throughout your day, you're emptying your cup, so that when things come in, you've got so much more capacity to deal with it. And if anybody wants a copy of this recording, just let me know and I can send it to you. So just get all comfortable. Okay, and I'm just going to play it now. Jess is just like called into work.
Is she?
Can anyone else not hear it? Sorry.
No.
Can you try and play?
No,
Yeah.
I can't hear it, Mary.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, you can't hear it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, bum. Okay.
Yeah, you've got to share your screen with sound, Mary. Unshare and reshare with sound. There's a check button bottom left.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Everyone was just waiting patiently.
Oh,
I thought that was it.
I was like, that's pretty cool.
Where would it be?
Just go.
So sorry, guys. Stop video. Oh, no, hang on.
So just share your screen again, and there's a function which is share with sound.
Share screen. Oh, share with sound. Yep, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys.
Right.
That's all right. Take two.
Let's do it again. I was thinking, geez, no one's paying attention. I'm not going to take it. Leave. Okay. I just wanted to play this one because then if you like it, you can have it. That's why I wanted to do it this way. Okay.
Perfect.
Ready? Tell me if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
So just taking a deep breath in and breathing out. And this time take another longer breath in and hold it. And just as you breathe out, just notice where you're sitting. Notice what it feels like to be in the chair. Notice whether there's some places in the chair that your body's touching more than others. Maybe even notice how the clothes feel on your skin. Or noticing even how the air feels on any exposed skin. And now as you breathe in, just say to yourself, in. And as you breathe out, just say the word out. And as you say in, breathe in. And saying out and breathing out. as you take all your focus to your breath, breathing in and out, letting everything else go, focusing on the words in and out. And if thoughts come and go, you can just let them go and bring your attention back to your breath. Gently breathing in, breathing out. That's right. Breathing in and out, letting everything else go. When you're ready, just opening your eyes, back in the room, back in the place, wide awake, feeling calmer, more peaceful, and more relaxed.
Okay. Oops, sorry.
So just
That's
taking a
not too
deep breath in.
So that's mindfulness. How did everyone go with that one?
Yeah, good.
Very
Cool.
good, thank you.
And so that's something that you can just do anywhere. Sometimes I say to people that have got families, just whack that on in the car before you step inside. Like it can be really something that you can just use to help you to just recalibrate yourself. And again, with these techniques, the more you do them, the more you empty the cup, the more space you have to deal with what life throws at you. And then the last one, and I'm just conscious of time, so I'm sorry, is the reframe. And we're all told to think positive. And to be completely frank, if you're just going everything's okay and it's really, really not, that's like polishing a turd. It's still a turd at the end of it. I'm really sorry. But for me, it's actually recognizing what is and deciding to choose to find the positives within what you have. So for me, an example of Corona is, geez, it sucked that I got stuck at home with my whole family. But what I really, really enjoyed is listening to the noises of the neighbourhood children, which I haven't really heard in the 14 years I've lived in the place I've lived in, and the community connection that I feel. So for me, thinking positive that way means that I'm not pretending things are okay. I'm actually looking for the positives in a particular situation. And the reason that that's a benefit is that that puts me back in power. And when I'm in power, I'm less stressed. That gives me the choice of how I'm going to look at a particular situation. So that's an example of thinking positive. And there's lots of different ways you can do it. But for me, the main thing is that I really like to encourage people to find the positives regardless of the situation. In the olden days, we'd say, look for the silver lining in the clouds. And that's exactly true, because it's actually not about pretending everything's okay when it's not. It's acknowledging that which you can't change and realising that actually there are some other benefits that have come out of a particular situation. And when you can see them and that, the stress just kind of drops. That was my little presentation. I hope you guys got something out of it. And I hope it gives you an opportunity to find the thing that will work for you. I just gave you three examples, but you could do gratitude, you could do surfing, you could do walking, you could do dancing, you could do quite a number of things, as long as you do it regularly and that thing empties your cup.